So yeah, really excited to be here today with Jesse Cannone, the owner of Healthy Back Institute. We are here in beautiful, sunny Austin, Texas.
Good to see you, Ty.
Yeah, you too, Jesse. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah,
I'm really excited to get your story. I know that you've got a personal story, a story that you had a problem and you solved it, and as a result of that, you've gotten solutions for the rest of the world, and it dealt with chronic pain. So, if you'd be so kind as to share with us your personal story. I mean, you look like you're fit as can be, but that hasn't always been the case as far as your joints and your aches and pains, has it?
Yeah, looks can be deceiving. So when I was 22 years old, I was a fitness trainer working in a health club. Thought I knew it all about health and fitness, and I was just wrecked with injuries. Tricep tendonitis, middle and lower back pain. I was diagnosed with scoliosis when I was 8 or 10 years old in public school. And then the worst injury of all was a knee injury that came on as a result of some running. The knee pain was so bad that one day I was in the grocery store with my girlfriend at the time, and I just collapsed. All of a sudden the knee buckled.
Okay.
I was on the floor in pain, knee stuck in a 90-degree angle, couldn't straighten it, couldn't get up, couldn't move.
How old were you at the time?
22 years old. 22 years old.
22.
Fitness trainer.
Okay.
So yeah, it kind of blew my world up.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I don't know everything, which is obviously a great learning lesson. But it kind of led me down this path to fix myself. I was depressed. I was like, I can't be a fitness trainer. This is my career.
Yeah.
How can I teach other people if I can't even do it right myself?
Right.
And so I went on the traditional route of trying everything: physical therapy, so X-rays, MRIs, physical therapy, chiropractic care, acupuncture, massage, cortisone injections, Celebrex, pain pills, all of that. Nothing worked.
Which, by the way, pain pills are the most abused drug in the United States today.
Oh, deadly.
Yeah.
Not only from the side effects, but also people getting hooked on them and overdosing and dying.
Right.
So yeah, extremely dangerous, and they don't solve the problem. One of the key things I teach people is how important it is to identify and address the underlying causes. Well, pain pill is nothing but masking the symptoms.
Okay. Talk about that with pain management, the symptoms versus the causes, because you're absolutely right. What basically, for people that don't understand what pain pills do, they paralyze your neurons so that you don't feel.
Exactly.
Right? But that's not the problem, is it? I mean, that's not the real issue. That's not, you're not having pain because you feel too much.
Right.
You're having pain because something's going wrong that you're feeling.
Exactly. It's like ignoring the warning sign on the dashboard of your car. Like putting a piece of tape over it, the engine light, just cover it up, I don't want to see it.
Right.
So no, that's obviously not effective.
So the current paradigm of pain management is masking symptoms. Let's talk about that, symptoms versus causes of pain.
Yeah, absolutely. Traditional Western medicine approach to pain is treat the symptom. You've got pain, I've got a pill. You've got pain, I've got an injection. Okay. You've got pain, I've got a stretch to solve the pain. None of it goes, a level deeper, which is where you need to be, which is what's causing the pain.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if you have pain or not. What matters is why is there pain.
Okay.
And it's almost always a combination of factors. It's never one thing. Okay. Very, very often medical professionals try to put it on one thing. Oh, well, you've got arthritis. And they don't even usually tie it to a cause. They tie it to a condition. So I kind of teach pain as a process. So you've got pain as the symptom. Then usually you've got a condition that you'll get diagnosed with. And then you've got underlying causes that are creating the condition. Okay. Right? And so really, if you want lasting relief, you've got to go all the way down to the base layer, which is identifying those underlying conditions.
Makes a lot of sense.
Excuse me, causes.
Yeah, it makes underlying the causes that cause the condition.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So I was going to share a little bit more about my story. What led me to kind of discover all this was I was 30 days away from surgery. Like I said earlier, nothing worked for the knee pain. I was like, I got to do something. Multiple MRIs, and orthopedic surgeon said, you have irregular meniscus. It just doesn't look normal. We'll go in, we'll clean it up, you'll be good as new. And I just knew that wasn't right. Yeah. But I was like, it had been like 9 months, and I was eager to get back to exercising, and so I said, okay, we'll do the surgery. I'm at a continuing education seminar, becoming a rehabilitation specialist. On the break, I went up to one of the instructors that I was impressed with, and I asked him about my situation. He said, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, you've got muscle imbalances. Your body's out of alignment, and it's causing you to put extra wear and tear and weight on your one leg. And I was like, holy cow. Like, why aren't you teaching this in the seminar, first of all? And he showed me 2 stretches, one to relieve the symptom of the pain, and one to release the tight muscle, which was more of one of the causes. Okay. Less than 2 weeks later, canceled the surgery.
Okay.
Right, 90% pain relief in like, really I had like 70% pain relief in a couple days, 90% problem gone in 2 weeks. And so I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I took it and ran. I just researched as much as I could. I experimented on all my clients. I apologize to you out there.
Cool.
Not all of it worked, but every client that I had, everybody has aches and pains. And so I took this concept and I started experimenting and learning and helping people.
Okay.
I became known as the injury expert, the guy to go to if you had aches and pains.
Yeah.
And then I just took it further and further, and eventually discovered that muscle imbalances were a big factor, but not the only factor. There's other things, and so I went on to kind of discover all the, at least to date, what I believe are all of the underlying causes for pain and injury.
Okay, that's awesome. One of the most common pains that we have today is back pain. I mean, everybody's got lower back pain, upper back pain. I've got a buddy that's a surgeon down in Seguin, Texas, and he's a spine surgeon. There's no shortage of business. Everybody's got back pain. So is surgery the solution for back pain?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. I interviewed just about a year ago the leading spine surgeon in Seattle, and he went on, after doing thousands, I forget how many thousands of surgeries, to write the book on why you shouldn't get back surgery. And so, no, surgery is very seldom the answer. Occasionally, yes. It's kind of the 80-20 rule. Applies to everything in life, right? 20% of the time you probably need surgery.
Right.
I think it's even less than that, but 80% of the time you don't need surgery. Many people who undergo spine surgery have multiple because the first one didn't fix it, and they convince you, oh, the second one we'll go and get the last little bit.
Right.
And then there's a third, and many of our clients and customers come to us having had failed back surgeries.
Okay.
In fact, back surgeries fail so often that doctors themselves say 60% of them fail.
Wow.
And they're underestimating.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So my theory is 80% of back surgeries really can be considered failures. There are much safer and, more importantly, more effective methods for getting rid of back pain. Okay. And one of the key things I always try to teach people is you don't have back pain because you didn't have a surgery. You don't have back pain because you didn't or aren't taking a pain pill.
Right.
So you have back pain because of these underlying causes, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
So the key to fixing it and getting lasting relief is identifying and addressing those underlying causes.
Okay. So, and it's interesting too, you mentioned that maybe 80% of them are unnecessary, right, for the back surgeries.
Yeah.
I mentioned my buddy that's a surgeon in Seguin. He's one of us. He's a natural guy. And he'll tell people, you don't need surgery. You weigh 400 pounds. You need to drop 200 pounds.
Right.
Or something to that effect.
Right.
There's all kinds of things that he tries to tell people, don't get surgery.
Right.
And he said since he's been doing that, his business has exploded.
Really?
Because people want them, they want doctors to tell them, you don't need surgery all the time. Here's some things that you can do. So you have solutions. What are some of the causes to back pain, and what are some of the solutions?
Sure. Well, actually, maybe if it's okay, before we jump into the solutions,
Yeah.
I want to mention a couple of the mistakes that people make. And you just alluded to one of them. People want somebody to solve the problem for them. They go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Hey, doc, fix me.
Yep.
My back's a mess. I can't sleep. I can't work. I can't get out of bed. Fix my problem. Biggest mistake is people don't own it. You've got to own it. It's your back. It's your body.
Yeah.
You've got to own it. You've got to understand it. Why is my back hurting? If you really want to get rid of the problem.
Right.
So that's one of the biggest mistakes people make.
Okay.
But if you want to talk about solutions, again, the key to...
Well, before we do, let me cut in here, because this is a perfect time, because it's interesting. I wasn't even thinking about my friend that's a surgeon, but he said the reason that people come in much of the time is that they don't want to own it. Right. And they want a pill, they want a surgery to fix it, and when he'll tell them, look, you don't need surgery, you need to drop 50 pounds, they don't want to.
Oh, they don't want to hear it.
They don't want to. They want the surgery, they want the pill, they want something so they don't have to work.
Yeah, that's it. As humans, we're kind of lazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all of us. I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody.
Sure.
Generally speaking, we don't want to do the work. To really fix your back, you've got to learn about how your body works. Like, you've got to learn things that you probably haven't learned before.
Yeah.
Like, if you ask, I always do this as an experiment. I ask people, move your arm like this, like flex your bicep. How does that happen? Like, how did you do that? They have no idea what happened.
Right.
Like the signal from the brain, which muscles are involved. They don't understand the mechanics of their own human movement. So understanding your body, understanding what causes back pain is essential. Or really any health condition, cancer, back pain, arthritis, anything, whatever it is, understanding the disease or the condition is essential. Okay. Understanding, what's going on in your body. Yeah. So a couple other mistakes maybe I'll mention that'll be useful for people. People think they're too healthy or too fit.
Okay.
They're like, I'm healthy, like me, fitness trainer, I can't be having all these injuries.
Right.
I'm supposed to be the health fitness expert. Anyone can have pain, regardless of age, gender, occupation, how healthy or fit you are,
Sure.
anything, anybody is, no one's exempt from back pain or pain and injuries in general. Another mistake people make is only treating the symptoms. We talked about that a little earlier. If you don't address the underlying causes, you're never going to get rid of the problem. And that's why back pain, it's so common to have frequent flare-ups. People will say, oh, my back went out again.
Yeah.
It's how many times does that happen?
Right.
The fifth time. Another mistake people make is not addressing it the first time it happens.
Okay.
The first time your back, quote unquote, goes out, ideally address it.
Okay.
Address those causes. Don't just treat the symptoms. What most people do, their back goes out, they treat it symptomatically, it goes away on its own, as it tends to do, and then you think the problem's gone until it comes back 6 months later with a vengeance, usually worse.
Yeah.
Usually each time it's progressively worse.
Okay.
So those are some of the key mistakes. There's others, but those are the key things that I see people doing that prevent them from getting lasting relief.
Okay.
So now if you want, we'd kind of jump into the solutions
That'd be
part.
great. Yeah, absolutely.
So from a solution standpoint, if you want lasting relief, you've got to address the underlying causes. What are the most common underlying, I call them hidden causes, because they're typically not seen or talked about by traditional healthcare or medical professionals.
Okay.
So biggest cause, number one, in my opinion, is stress.
Okay.
Dr. John Sarno did amazing research on back pain and the mind-body kind of component.
Okay.
And really, you can sum it up with our ability to handle stress and negative emotions.
Okay.
And nobody, talking about not wanting to deal with a problem, it's interesting, we help lots of people, millions of people all over the world, and oftentimes they'll say, Jesse, I'm 80% there, but there's that last little bit that I just can't get rid of.
Yeah.
And I'll talk to them, well, what have you done so far? I've done muscle balance therapy, I've done the spinal decompression, I've done all these things. I've done, made nutritional changes. Have you worked with a therapist? Have you done psychotherapy? No, I don't need that. I don't need a therapist. Nobody thinks they're broken.
Right.
We're all broken. We've all got stuff to deal with. Stress is the number one thing that causes disease, pain, and illness.
Sure. And we've seen that with my research in cancer. It's huge.
Oh yeah. So that's number one. You've got to deal with that. And meditation is helpful. Affirmations, prayer, psychotherapy, hypnosis. There's lots of ways to work on that. Reducing stress is one of the key. A lot of people are afraid of change and getting stress out of your life, like making lifestyle changes. At work, in relationships, cutting out people who are negative and unhealthy and unwilling to help you on your journey to be more positive and be more healthy. It's difficult to do, but it's essential.
Okay.
So that's number one. I would say number two is nutritional. So we have inflammation. Inflammation is huge in our bodies, and there's many causes for inflammation. One is dietary, what we eat. Most people eat relatively, poorly. Even those of us who eat healthy, the food is deficient of sufficient minerals, and or they're imbalanced. So you're getting too much of one mineral, not enough of another.
Okay.
So diet and what we're eating is huge.
Okay.
Hydration. Most people, I'd say 60 to 70% of people are dehydrated. Some people are overhydrating.
Okay.
So hydration is really important and overlooked. In particular for the spine and the discs, I believe they're over 80% water, and there's not a lot of blood flow either. So if you're dehydrated, it's impossible to ask your body to heal a disc if you're not giving it what it's made of, enough water. So water's key. Muscle imbalances. We talked about this a little earlier. It's what kind of led me down this path. Muscle imbalances are huge. Every single joint in your body can have dysfunction, what I call joint dysfunction, based on these imbalances. So one of the most common ones is for lower back pain is the hips and the pelvis. They're out of balance. The hips typically are being pulled forward, tilting down in the front by the tight, powerful muscles of the hip flexors here, in the front of your thighs. As these muscles pull your hips and your pelvis forward, they make excessive arch and curve in your lower back. And so now you've got this excessive strain on all the discs in the lower and middle part of the back. That's all just from that one thing, the muscle imbalances. 2 quick stretches can totally solve that problem. So muscle balance therapy is huge. And again, these imbalances exist throughout our whole body. In the head and neck, in the shoulders, upper back, arms, everywhere, even in the hand. The wrist, the forearm, everywhere. Almost every ache and pain can be traced back to a muscle imbalance. So it's one of the biggest physical causes of pain. Actually, I should probably step back. One thing I like to do is I'd like to break the body or the being up into several component parts.
Okay.
Kind of the spirit and the mind part. Really, they're separate, but if you will, kind of lump those together as one. The physical body, like the exterior, the mechanical part of your body, and then the internal part of your body, which is your diet, your hydration, things like that.
Okay.
Muscle imbalances are huge. Spinal compression, when it comes to back and neck pain, compression of the spine. The discs get smushed. Imagine a jelly donut between my hands. If I put too much pressure down, jelly's going to squirt out, right?
Yeah.
And that's what happens with our discs.
Sure.
Well, not only do we have too much compression, pressure pushing down on those discs, but it's never even because of the muscle imbalances. The muscle imbalances, instead of it being even, push it like this. There's more pressure on one side than the other. There's also torsion or rotation of the spine. So if I've got muscle imbalances that are kind of twisting my body this way, and I've got excessive arch and curvature in the lower spine, I've got uneven pressure on my disc and rotation. Imagine that.
Right.
That's what's happening inside our body every day. Every step throughout the day, we're putting uneven wear and tear on the discs and really all of our joints.
So Jesse, what I'm seeing here is that there's all these causes that people may have for their pain, and if they go to a traditional doctor today, they're going to be like, I'm in pain, doc, no problem, here's a pill.
That's right.
And they're out the door, and none of them are addressed.
No.
Right?
No, not at all. You'd be hard pressed to find a doctor who will give you all this information. That's why I went ahead and created this business and created my book to teach people and share this information, because I saw how impactful it was for me and my clients.
Yeah.
And I was like, people don't know this. How are they going to figure it out?
All of this is in a book then?
Oh yeah, all this is in my book and on my website. I have thousands of articles, free articles and videos on my website. And I actually give my book away for free as well. That's how passionate I am about it.
And this is it.
Yeah,
right? It was a
my book
rhetorical
right
question, actually. I saw the book, but here, this is the book.
Yeah, it's called The 7-Day Back Pain Cure, and in it I outline all of the underlying causes and then all of the corresponding treatments. Once you figure it out, and really, actually, one key message I should give everybody is, everybody's unique. You go to a chiropractor, they're going to give you a generic treatment protocol. They give everybody with lower back pain the same treatment protocol. You go to an orthopedic, same treatment protocol. Here's a sheet of exercises to do. You go to physical therapy, same thing. It's got to be specific to you. It's never one cause. It's always a combination, and your job, if you want lasting relief, is to uncover what's specifically going on for you and your body and your being, and then to tailor your treatment approach to that. So that's what I teach in my book. I teach you how to identify what's going on for you, what your causes are, which are the biggest causes, which are maybe lower on the list, and then I show you how to create a treatment plan to address those specifically.
Yeah, and so as we mentioned earlier, you have given people in this book, 7-Day Back Pain Cure, the ability to, the knowledge so they can own it.
Yes.
And you can't cure yourself unless you own it. So that you can own it. I mean, I can't think of a more practical book than this, in light of the fact that chronic pain is the number one complaint amongst the United States, at least. I know it's chronic pain. Everybody seems to be in chronic pain. This is a way that you can own it. Right?
And really what's interesting is everything that I teach applies to the whole body. Yes, it's specific to back pain and back-related conditions, neck pain, sciatica, etc., herniated disc, but the principles apply to any health condition and any injury in the body. So it's really a true reference, to teach you about your body and to teach you why we have pain. It's just in this case, tailored to you and your body, specific to back pain.
Yeah, I got it. Well, man, I don't have a copy of this. I'm going to steal this. Will you sign it for me?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So this is mine, but if you want to learn more about this amazing book and the program that Jesse's put together, just click the link below. And Jesse, thanks so much for spending time with us today, man. Appreciate it, brother.
This was awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.